Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave DeBow.
Hey, kids, have you ever thought about writing a book? Of course you have. If you're in the consulting business, the coaching business, the helping other people business, you need a book. Heck, I've got 8 or 9 of these darn things. I call a book a business card on steroids. And today, our special guest, a fellow Canuck, zooming in from Edmonton, Alberta, Kelly Woodhouse knows all about books and book publishing and helping to get you to an Amazon bestseller status. So Kelly, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Oh, thank you, Dave. It's great. You just did that like a charm. Oh my gosh, you're a pro.
Well, over 2,000 interviews in, I should be getting the hang of it. So
And that's awesome.
So Kelly, give me a little snapshot. First of all, what do you do and who do you serve? Like what's your primary thing you're helping people with? And who are the people that tend to resonate best with you?
Tend to come to me. Well, I still remember like 16 years ago when I became a speaker for the very, very first time. And my speaker coach at the time said, you know what, Kelly, you need to write a book. And I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know how to write a book. I'm thinking J.K. Rowling, Stephen King,
that kind of
right? And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And she's like, no, you need to have a book for 3 reasons. And I was like, okay, tell me. And she said, 1, so that when people ask you to speak for free, you've got a product to sell them. For 2, because it gives you more credibility over the speaker who doesn't have a book.
Right.
And then 3, it gives you more opportunities.
The business card on steroids side of things.
It is.
Exactly. Okay. I love the advice they gave you. And sorry, I'm taking off on tangents, but that's the way I go. So with that first option, when you've been invited to speak for free, at least you've got something to sell. Kind of walk me through that. What was your first, or not even your first experience, but what is an experience either you or one of your clients has had around that particular thing, and how did it work out?
Well, so, many times people don't have the budget to pay me, as a speaker or to pay my full speaker fee. Right. So what's beautiful about that is that I then go back to the clients and say, okay, so I really like who you guys are. Like I'm speaking for the fire chiefs in Saskatchewan at their conference. And same thing, they just didn't have the full budget, but they wanted me because I'm a burn survivor. So I said, well, is it okay if I can bring my books and sell the books? Okay. And they were like, absolutely. Now there could be 1,000 people in that audience.
Right.
So, or another option is to go back to the event planner and say, okay, so I know in your speaker budget, you don't have enough, but do you have an educational budget? And then they can say, well, yeah.
They buy the books.
They buy the book.
And give it to the attendees. So what do you find happens more often? That you're able to sell your books yourself or somebody has the education budget? What's the norm? Because you've spoken way more.
Yeah, mostly that, I can sell books.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what's financially, what does that typically look like? Like I have no idea. I mean, speaking in front of 1,000 fire chiefs is awesome, but I don't think that's the bread and butter of your speaking business. Or maybe it is. Like, what's the typical kind of audience size? And out of that typical audience size, how many books do you kind of sell? And what does that look like financially from that?
So it's been really difficult to give you that number because I haven't been speaking in person as much.
Right.
Over the past few years. So mostly I've been doing coaching. So
let's say pre-COVID, but before the world shut down.
Yeah, pre-COVID, like there'd be times I'd make an extra $1,000 just on book sales.
And typically what are you selling your books for? Like how much are you charging for your books?
So I sell them for $25, or if you buy 2 of them, and it can be any 2, for $40. So you get both books for $40. So $20 a book instead of $25.
Okay, very good. So it's not huge money, but it definitely helps. And it covers, because quite often for speaking gigs, or at least the dumb ones I've done in the past, it's like I'm even covering my own cost to get there, for crying out loud and that sort of thing. So definitely helps from that. And then the book is a way to get the word out about who you are and what you do and there should be a call to action in it so people can actually reach out to you and book you and all that kind of stuff. So does that typically turn into more business for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, in fact, my book has also turned into a documentary about my life story, which gave me enormous credibility because people are like, oh my gosh, we have to have you because, you've got, well, I have 15 books now, but, you've also got the documentary about your life story. And then what we do is we go to the media about it. And then, so me and another burn survivor, Burn Awareness Week is coming up in the beginning of February. So we got in touch with all these schools and spoke to the schools. We've done it now 5 years in a row. But what was really cool is we invited the media to come hear us speak. And then the media did all these stories about us. And then at Christmas time, 11 months later, they named us as the most inspirational people of 2020.
Nice.
Now, the big thing is not just having that $20 book, but it's using that $20 book plus the documentary, plus, being named most inspirational people, getting all of those things together that build up that credibility so that everybody wants to hire you as a speaker or hire.
Okay. Well, so I'm hearing the skeptics in the audience, myself included, saying, well, that's easy for you, Kelly. You've got a very interesting, inspiring story. God knows what you had to go through to get that story. That's for sure. Nobody wants that's for sure. Yeah. But what about little old boring me? I don't have a super inspiring story like you do. I'm just a run-of-the-mill coach, or I'm a financial planner, or I'm a whatever. Like, how can I grab a little bit of that magic pixie dust if nobody's going to be doing a documentary about me?
Right. So, it's interesting because a lot of people say that I don't have your story, but you guys have another story, right? And
but it probably doesn't have the same shock factor or the same in your face kind of wow factor kind of thing, right?
I know, but I mean, I've heard
maybe give me an example of somebody you've worked with who you've helped through all this process. That I'm a imagining kind of person. So walk me through somebody you've worked with and help them kind of tie all this in together.
Sure. So I'm going to share two books.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, then you can zoom over to our YouTube channel and take a look at what's going on here.
Exactly. Right. So these two clients of mine, both of them, I made them into best-selling authors just this December. Now, here's what's really cool. This is Linda.
So that's the book's called Take Your Power Back.
Yeah, Take Your Power Back, How Trauma Becomes Strength When You Heal From Within. Now, Linda's 77 years old.
Nice.
Okay, and when she came to me, she's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I just know I'm supposed to do it. And she tried to quit on me 3 times.
So what is she? What does Linda do? Well, what's her coach or what is she?
She's a healer, but she's also working in a group home helping teenage moms and single moms.
Okay, but basically the service she can provide out of the 9 to 5 is she's a healer.
Yeah, it's her job that she has. But then on the other side, she's a healer.
Got it. Okay.
And so that's what she's doing. Now, this book is with Melissa and Billy.
Empower: The Journey from Victim Island to Solution City.
Now, the reason you're going to love this book, Dave, is because it's actually a podcast.
Uh-huh.
So what they did is they interviewed, I think there's 13 people. They interviewed them all for their podcast.
Yeah.
And then we made those into a chapters of
a chapter in it. Yeah, smart.
And then people paid. I don't know how much they charged, but a lot of people charge, like, say, $1,500 or $2,000 to have a chapter in the book. So you can imagine if you've got 20 people paying you $2,000, that's $40,000 in your pocket, and you don't even have an interesting story.
It's all there's. You could be boring as hell and still have a best-selling book and make money with it.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So that book, that last one you're talking about, the way the revenue was really generated was just by getting all these contributing authors. So it's an anthology book is what that's called. To chip in $2,000 each times 13, there's 26 grand, less the cost of putting the whole book together.
Yeah.
But you're setting it up on Amazon, so it's not like you have to print out a gazillion copies and have them in bookstores and all that kind of stuff. It's Amazon based. So the main revenue generator there was just creating the book in the first place. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then what they did that made this book even more special is that they decided to support her charity that she has called Girls Matter.
Nice.
And so a portion of all the book sales is going back to her Girls Matter charity.
Nice.
And so, and the beautiful thing is they only had to write one chapter each. So they didn't have to fill up 200 pages of boring stories.
Yeah, they got everybody else to put up their boring stories.
The other beautiful thing is all these people are promoting the book. So you're not just have one person trying to promote the book and get the bestseller list. Yeah. You get everybody doing promotions together.
Nice.
And that makes it a lot more fun and more faster and all that.
Oh yeah, that is brilliant. It's been years since I've done an anthology book, but now you got my whole ticker ticking thinking about this because that is very, very smart. Okay. So we talked about using a book. The number one thing you're talking about was to have something to sell when you're speaking on stage. If you're not getting the big fat speaker fee you wanted, at least you can sell your books and generate some revenue that way. The second big reason that your coach told you back in the day was it the credibility piece?
Yeah, you get more credibility over the speaker who doesn't have a book.
Yeah, now Kelly's whole thing is she's a professional speaker, but books are not just for professional speakers. They're for anybody who wants to do more business, basically.
Right? Exactly. So, they want to do more business. You want to build that expert credibility because, Dave, I know you're always picking people for your podcast. Mm-hmm. And so you're looking for the best experts. Mm-hmm. So if you've got an expert that's got a book, a best-selling book, and you've got someone who claims they're an expert but doesn't have a book, typically you're going to think the person who's the best-selling author is more the expert than the person without the book.
Exactly. And it goes back to
get put to the top of the pile.
It goes back to the old Dr. Phil analogy, right? Dr. Phil was just an average, everyday psychologist. Oprah happened to like him, put him on her show. Boom! Overnight, he's freaking.
He's an overnight success.
Yeah, he's a complete success, and everybody just assumes he must be amazing because he was on Oprah. So this is the same idea. Being a best-selling author gives you that level of authority, which is where the name authority comes from. Author, right? So it's a shortcut to massive credibility. All right, and remind me, what was the third one again?
And the third one is just more other opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Which is coming from the book itself, because if you do it right, as I'm sure you probably coach most of your clients to do, it's like there's contact information in there. There's information about your speaking services or your consulting services or your coaching services or whatever. There's a reason for people to reach out and connect with you.
Yeah,
brilliant stuff.
Now, so let's go back to the don't have the time, right? Like a lot of times people just don't have the time to write. And I say, yeah, well, you know what? There's no excuse now with AI.
Yeah.
Like I've written a book in an hour.
Yeah.
I've done my children's books all with AI. Right? Like there's no excuse nowadays to not.
Well, are you worried? I'm worried a little bit about AI and writing books and stuff, in that most people are going to do it wrong. And there's going to just be a plethora of crappy content out there, AI-generated blither. It's just so insipid and vanilla and that it's going to turn people off from books, from buying books, or from things like that. Like you end up figuring out somebody wrote their book with AI because they did a crappy job with it. It could turn you off of buying some other book. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. There could be, and there is, right? Like it even got to the point where Amazon sent me an email, and I'm sure they sent it to a bunch of people, but it basically said that you cannot publish more than 3 books a day.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So clearly some people are just going nuts publishing all these AI books.
Yeah.
But I'm always encouraging my clients, use AI as your foundation.
Yeah.
Right? And another thing that I've done with AI, like I've got a couple clients where, they could only write the first 90 pages and they're like, I'm stuck. I can't even write anymore. I don't even know what else to write. So I said, okay, give me your book. And so they'll pass it on to me. They'll email it to me. And then I'll put it into AI and I'll say, okay, where's the holes? Where's the gaps in the outline? What would you suggest? And then write it.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, it would take those 80 pages and make them 200.
Well, the other thing I love about writing books these days, my preferred way to do this, and you know far more than I do, Kelly, you've been doing it a lot more and with a lot more people, but my preferred way to write my own book and to make sure it is really my content and not just AI dribble is to just start with an outline of the different chapters that I want in the book. Yeah. Write down 5 to 7 bullet points under each chapter, and then just get on the computer, start a recording, and talk through each chapter.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's so much easier than trying to write stuff. Like, I don't have the patience for that. In fact, I think all of my books have been talked. That's how I've done it. And then the beautiful thing about AI is I can take that messy, grammatically incorrect transcript of me blathering and put that into AI and say, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. Act as if you are a professional ghostwriter, editor, and polish this up. Like make it look good and sound good, but don't add any of your own crap. This is my content. Keep it tight. So what are your thoughts about that kind of?
That's absolutely what I would do. And in fact, before AI came out, that was actually what I would tell my clients to do, the ones that don't want to write their book or type it, because that's a big thing. Like, how many people don't like to type or don't know how to type? So that is one of the strategies that I would do. I would actually get on with my client. We'd get on to Otter, because Otter was one of the first companies that was doing that sort of thing.
Yep.
And then I would just ask them questions and I'd get them to speak it out.
Yeah.
And that was how I was able to get them.
Yeah, you'd interview them through their book. That's the simplest way to do it. I think even today, that's probably the best way to do it.
Oh, I totally agree that that's still the way to do it.
Yeah.
I still believe that is the absolute best way to do it, is talk it out. And in fact, what happens when you talk out your book is that it flows better because you're not trying to edit it. Whereas someone like me, if I'm typing my book, I'm editing as I go. Mm-hmm. And that's why in the beginning, I used to handwrite my books because I can't edit it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
yeah, so much easier.
I absolutely love books that are talked out because they just happen to flow better. You just get it all out.
Exactly. And then clean it up afterwards. And that's the thing I think AI is so powerful for is, what used to take weeks and cost thousands of dollars with professional editors and proofreaders and all that kind of stuff. Literally, you can polish that up in no time with AI. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think, and that is also the reason why I believe that everybody should have a book, is because it is so easy to do.
Well, so let's talk a little bit about that, Kelly. So given that nowadays writing a book is so much easier than it used to be, and with Amazon and all this stuff, publishing it is so much easier than you don't need to get a publisher. You can self-publish anything.
Yeah.
Why do people come to you to work with you? What do you bring to the equation? And I know what it is, but I just want you to explain it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's an excellent question, Dave, because, even, my roommate was saying, Cal, you're going to be out of business because now that AI can write books, everybody's just going to go to AI and do their books. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So there's 7 steps to publishing a book on Amazon, and AI can do 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you still need somebody to show you the other 5 steps.
Not only that, here's what I'm going to interject, because again, you've done way more books than I have, but I've done 9 and I screwed up the first several. So So I think the value you bring is way beyond just the, 5 missing steps that AI can't do yet with Amazon. It's more about the big picture of the book, because so many people charge out and just write a piece of crap. Their first book is just a piece of crap, and they have no strategy behind it. They have no real thought behind it. So I think the value you bring is helping guide them to what kind of book they should have, what it should sound like, what it should look like, what the cover should be like, what the call to action in the book should be, what the publishing strategy should be, how to get it from just one of those 8 gazillion books a day that are published on Amazon to an actual Amazon bestseller. That, to me, and then like the discipline of sitting down with somebody, helping them to outline their book, interviewing them through it, because left to our own devices, we'll procrastinate and nothing will happen, right? But if you actually sit them down and talk them through their book and then do the AIZ stuff for them, that's a massive service.
You're absolutely right. I'm just going to get you to start selling for me since you know what I do. You're absolutely right. And the bottom line is you get to ask me questions.
Yeah. Somebody who's got 14 books of her own has helped God knows however many other people do theirs. Yeah.
Well, and all the books that are behind me, those are all my clients' books. And you're absolutely right. Like, how many times have you gone to a YouTube channel to find out how to do something, and then you get stuck and you have nobody to ask? Because you just watch the video. There's no two-way conversation. And so that's what's beautiful about it. Working with me or even another book coach is that you can bounce ideas off them. And my whole point is that I don't want to just, charge you $10K to write a book, and then you're wondering, well, how am I going to sell these books for $20? Because it's not the $20 book. It's the coaching, the speaking, online courses.
Yeah, there's really very little money in selling books. I mean, doing it the way you do it's smart, but that's not your main business, right? You're not trying to be J.K. Rowling and...
Oh, I don't care if my books sell.
Exactly. Yeah, me neither.
I don't. I want those books to give me the credibility so that people want to put me on stages or hire me to be their coach or whatever, or take my courses.
Yeah. Smart. Awesome, Kelly. Well, we could chat about this for a long, long time, but time's flying. So, hey, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people interested in finding out more about you, more about your books, more about your book writing services. Where should they go?
So kellywoodhouse.com is the best place to find me. And and that's where they can go. And and we can set up a time to chat about your book because, Dave, it's not about the book. It's about everything else that you're doing. And that's what I love about it. In fact, one of my clients wants to burn her book. And I said, hold it. You don't get to burn it unless you send me the copy first. Send me the email with the document so that when you burn it, I at least have something to give back to you. So
Nice. Well, Kelly, thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. I have to have you back again.
You are very welcome. Thank you, Dave. Have a great day.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured? Share your story and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.